Greetings, Sci-Fi Nation. How are you doing? So this has been a stream I have been looking forward to for just the longest time. I finally hit 50 subscribers, or a little over 50 now. For the longest time, I was stuck at like 41 or something, and I think it was because YouTube had my region set to Afghanistan for some reason. And needless to say, the stuff I do doesn't really appeal to people in Afghanistan because I don't speak their language. So I was getting recommended into the entirely wrong area. But so what I wanted to do on whenever I hit 50 subscribers was I wanted to kind of show the process of how I do things, and I kind of want to talk about, since it's at the right time, just what you can expect from this channel in the year 2020. So the first thing I want to do is something for Wesley, if he shows up in the stream. He's been wondering how I managed to get my my green screen to work with things like Streamlabs, or excuse me, StreamYards and Skype. And so I was going to walk through that real quick. I was going to do a unique video on this, but I realized that that's all kind of part of how I do all this stuff. So let me real quick get this set up. This is going to be a bit of a fumbling stream, precisely because I didn't want to do a bunch of work up front. I wanted y'all to see how I do this as I do it. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, can I actually capture Streamlabs OBS without having 1,000 windows going forever? Let's find out. I don't think it can happily capture itself without just showing itself forever and ever and ever. But we're going to give this a shot here. We're going to add a window capture. And I want to capture Streamlabs OBS. Will you do it? Come on. Tell you what, instead I'm going to capture VMware. There we go. So this is, I do a bunch of work in virtual environments because of all the different programming stuff I do. So I have a fresh copy of Windows 10 set up, and I'm going to install, in order to be able to do my green screen captures on StreamYards, I'm going to install the vanilla version of OBS. So let's get our handy dandy web browser pulled up here, which, because this is just a default installation, all I have is Internet Explorer right now. And we're going to go over to OBS. And I should have all my networking. There we go. Yeah, I had all the networking stuff set up right. We're going to download OBS as soon as it lets us. Yeah, I want to save that. Thank you. So in order to make this work with things like Skype and StreamYards or Streamlabs, specifically with Skype, you can't use the default Windows app of Skype. So I'm pretty sure. Okay, good. This version of Windows 10 did not come with Skype pre-installed. If it came with the desktop app or the Windows app that you get like in the App Store, you just need to right-click it and uninstall it. But fortunately, my version of Windows 10 doesn't come with that. So yes, download everything it needs. And while it's getting everything it needs, we're going to go ahead and also download Skype. Yep, download it. Hey, Not Ryan Johnson. He's saying hello out there in YouTube land. Congrats on hitting 50 subs. Thank you, Not Ryan Johnson. So right now I'm going over a quick thing that is primarily for Wesley. But hey, Cinnabon, this was also something I think you were interested in, how I get OBS to actually stream to things like Skype and StreamYards. So this is a vanilla version of Windows 10. It's a virtual machine. And so let's see, it's installing the 27 distribute package. Don't know why I can't say that right now. Okay, so that should be done. Let's go to my downloads folder. There you go. Yeah, we'll do everything. Go ahead. And this is just vanilla OBS because unfortunately, Streamlabs OBS doesn't have the ability to integrate the virtual camera, because that's what we're going to do. We are going to set up a virtual camera so that everything I capture in OBS will be streamed as if it was a webcam attached to my computer. So yep, get Skype for Windows, come on. Now technically speaking, this Intel RealSense SDK, I don't need it. It's not going to help me out here. I hadn't realized that when I selected the plugins that that's what it was talking about. But if you had a very specific webcam and you installed this RealSense SDK, you could do things like, without a green screen, black out your environment behind you. But we don't have that, so it's not an issue. So I'm gonna hook up a second webcam that I can give to my virtual machine, just so y'all can see this in action. Okay, next. Yeah, so this is what it's complaining about, that I don't have a Intel RealSense camera, so it's completely pointless for me to be using this. But go ahead, just, you're expecting it, go ahead and install it. I am so not going to do all this stuff because I don't have the camera, so just go ahead. Okay, so we got the camera hooked up. Yeah, that's fine. We actually don't need it. Okay, so OBS should be working just fine at this point. No, you don't need a auto capture or auto config. That's fine. Okay, so there is that hooked up nicely. Let's get Skype to finish installing. You never even download? Come on, Skype. Microsoft Edge. Save that. Run it. And then the last thing we're going to need, and I'll put links to all this in the description, because if I tried to paste right now, for some reason it would paste as my other YouTube account instead of the one I'm logged in as. I don't get OBS sometimes. Oh, that's right, I gotta sign in. You know what? You guys aren't gonna get to see this for just a second. Boop. Yeah, I'm not gonna let you see all my passwords and stuff. And assuming I can actually remember my passwords correctly. Okay, so now I am logged into Skype, and for some reason, even though I plugged in this handy dandy webcam, the spare one I got, it is not recognizing it as being available. So, oh, you know what? I bet that even though I just plugged this guy in, I bet OBS has completely dominated control of it. So I can't use it for anything, which, thanks OBS. Thanks a lot for that. What does it even think I'm doing with this? Okay, well, we can still work this. Because if I go to, right now, I go into my settings for Skype. And under audio and video, right now, you'll see that no camera has been found. It can't do anything. So what we're going to do now is install this one last piece of software, that is the OBS Virtual Cam. And this will create, this will trick StreamYards and OBS or Skype into thinking that you have a dedicated camera after we install it. So let's get out of OBS. Okay, we're just gonna run this guy. Yeah, I know, run it anyway. We're just gonna do one virtual camera. I mean, 4 seems nice, but I only need the one right now. Okay, with that, I should be able to do everything I could possibly want to do with the green screen stuff. So under Tools, you can see that there's now an option called Virtual Cam. And what I like to do is just automatically start it. Whenever I start up OBS Vanilla, it's going to start it up, and it's going to target OBS Camera, because I've only installed one of these. So once I start this, if I come over to Skype now, which I might actually have to restart Skype. Let's find out. Yeah, so right now it's still not finding a camera. So we are going to restart Skype so that it will actually detect everything fresh. And hopefully this doesn't make a liar out of me. Hopefully it just finds it right away. Oh, it made it. There we go. So now it has selected OBS camera. So if I were to come back into OBS and let me add in just about anything, let's do an image. We're just going to create a new image, and I guess I got to put something on the desktop for it to actually grab. Let's grab this Farscape picture. I'll just bring that into my virtual machine. Come over to desktop, Farscape. Oh, look at that pretty Moya. And now you can see over on Skype, there is Moya. So if I was wanting to like do a stream with a Cinnabon, because we like to do 7 Days to Die every once in a while, and he uses StreamYards to grab, usually just us talking and show us all there. So if I wanted everyone to be able to see where I was, in addition to what he was up to, then I could turn on my OBS Vanilla, because again, it will not work in Streamlabs OBS. You have to use either OBS 32-bit or OBS 64-bit in order to make this work. I could set up a game capture or screen capture if I had to, and just pipe that into everything, which is exactly what I do. So if I come over to, let's see, is this this is my gaming one. So right now I just have my green screen up behind me. I don't have the filter turned on because I don't need it right now. But let's see. Actually, you know what? We are going to come back to this guy. So let me hide my virtual machine. So if I wanted this this image behind me actually showing, now I'll turn my filter back on. There we go. Okay, so this is exactly what I'd be doing, except instead of it showing a Warhammer 40K background, it'd be showing the video game or just whatever I wanted, and I'd be able to stream this as a camera instead of just a much more boring green screen behind me, which right now is all black and grayed out because OBS is doing its best to replace my almost perfectly green screen into an actual image. So let's actually talk about that, because just kind of rolling on how I do this. So when I first started doing videos, I actually only had my cell phone here. I would record into my cell phone like this, just using a free voice recorder app on Android, the default one that came with the phone. And then I would email that file to myself, because for whatever reason my USB port doesn't work. I can only charge wirelessly, and I can only send files either by setting up an FTP server or by emailing it to myself. So I would send that audio file to myself, and then within a program called Shotcut, I would take the audio file and then add on video on top of that. And Sci-Fi Nation is saying, "This is great. Please leave the stream up after it's done, Matthew." Oh, absolutely, Sci-Fi. I specifically wanted to go over that first part because Wesley was wondering how I did it. And instead of just doing a unique video showing Wesley how I do this, I wanted to do a just kind of a general, this is, kind of behind the curtain stuff. What was I talking? Oh yeah, so this was it. This was all I had, and it was decent enough. It doesn't, like, the audio quality wasn't very good. And who was it? It was WSI Trek. He was one of my first subscribers. I think Bird of Prey was technically my absolute first. But WSI, he was really early on a subscriber, and he said, I'm liking the videos, but please, please, please invest in a good microphone. And so that was one of the first things I did invest in. Was I spent no more than $20 for this little lapel mic. In fact, if I can find it, I was trying to go through my orders on Amazon and figure out exactly how much I spent on stuff. Here we are. It was the Boya BY M1. Let's see. I don't really want to show off all my orders, but let's see if I can't get a new window capture going here. Not that one. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Oh, and Chrome doesn't like being captured. That's the weird thing about Streamlabs and OBS, is that for whatever reason, it does not like capturing Chrome browsers. Firefox seems to be the only one that really plays nicely for whatever reason. So what we're going to do instead is do a screen capture or display capture. And I really wish that I could capture that I could capture what I was doing right now, but it's not letting me for whatever reason. No, don't do that. No. It's okay. Thankfully, I don't have anything embarrassing being ordered on Amazon. Can you imagine? Let's see. Okay, so this is the microphone that I bought, and I'm not sponsored by anyone. I don't get any sort of Amazon affiliate links. This is just me letting you know. This is the things I used whenever I was getting this all set up. These are the devices I used. You can obviously hear the quality of the microphone right now as I am using it. So it's up to you to decide if this is a good device or not. I'm just letting you know. And let's see. Cinnabon is saying StreamYard has that built in, I think, through XSplit. Haven't tried it yet. Yes, so on XSplit, I did look into it. And at least on the version that I was looking at, Cinnabon, I had to pay an additional fee in order to use the virtual camera on XSplit. Like, it was like $100, I want to say, maybe not that much, but it was a pretty expensive fee to use their virtual camera device. And real quick, let's see if I can actually. We're gonna just kind of shrink that on up there. Maybe move it behind me because I'm vain like that. There we are. Okay, so let's see, XSplit virtual camera. So I think this is what I was looking at. And yeah, so in order to get it, I had to buy it, looks like. And maybe I was just reading this wrong, but let's see, let's download the virtual cam. Well, it looks like maybe it'll let me do it for free. Whatever one I went to first, it looked like I had to buy it outright. So that's why I went through this 3-step process of getting rid of the Windows app of Skype and using a built-in, or using the desktop version of Skype. And that's a really important distinction. It has to be the desktop version of Skype. The new version of Skype, they do a slightly different version of the API calls, and so it will not work. So I don't know, maybe I was wrong about that, Cinnabon. Looking at this now, it looks like almost as if I could. Well, see, look, 25% off VCam sales on this page will be donated to OBS. So it looks like maybe I could get a trial version of it. But let's look at this lifetime license. Let's see what it tells me. Okay, so lifetime virtual cam, only $20. That actually wouldn't have been bad. I thought it was a lot more expensive. I'm thinking of something else. Oh, it's on sale. It was $50. That's why I was like, nah, I'm not paying $50 for a virtual camera. But $20, if I'm doing a lot of streaming, that might have been worth it. I stuck with OBS just because it's doing everything I want it to right now, and it's free. And I think that's the most important thing. When you're getting started on YouTube, you don't have to spend a bunch of money. You can do everything with free stuff. Like even with my phone, the audio quality wasn't that great, but it still let me start making videos. It let people see what I was doing, and it got some interest going. People saying these are decent videos. We want to see more, and based on that feedback, that's what prompted me to go and invest the highly expensive, like $20 for this lapel mic. After I got the lapel mic, at the time I was just using a still image of myself, just for the fun of it. I went ahead and I did two investments right after that. The first one was I got this Logitech camera. If I had it to do over again, I would not get this camera. It's a good camera, don't get me wrong. It does 1080p. You can see it does decent quality, but this specific version of the camera is widescreen. And I didn't realize it at the time how much I would regret buying a 16:9 format camera. Because if I turn off my handy dandy filter, which, let's see, I have to click on my webcam and then turn off the filters. Okay, so you can see right now that this looks pretty nice, but this is a 4:3 aspect ratio. I've dropped it down to 800 by 600 instead of the full 1920 by 1080. Because when I do the full version, very quickly you start to see the edges of everything. So I have to drop it down to be just this 4:3 aspect ratio, so that you're not seeing way out past my green screen, because otherwise I'm having to zoom way in on my face just so you can't see everything. And I like to think I'm handsome, but no one wants to be able to see every little skin blemish and every little wrinkle on my face just so you don't see the edges of my green screen. And Cinnabon is saying, yes, free is the way to start. Absolutely. Like, I can't say this enough. YouTube, this is such a fun thing to do. And if within this geek community that we built up with Anti-Trekker and Bird and DJ and Cinnabon and Sci-Fi Nation, and just so many people. Rambling Canuck was one of the first people I started to follow around in this community. He hasn't done any content in a while. He did a Rise of Skywalker review, but there's just so many people within this community, and we follow each other around, and we all do such fun things. But the point is, you don't need to spend a lot of money. If you're making good quality videos, people are going to forgive if you have a bad mic. People are going to forgive if you can see the random garbage I have on the side of my desk for some reason, an old straw wrapper and some random popcorn kernels sitting there. People are going to forgive that, because as long as what you're saying is fun, is interesting, they're going to be supportive, at least in this community. So I guess let's see if I can't kind of change this on the fly here, so you can see what it looks like whenever I go to full 1920 by 1080. Oh gosh, you can only see my eyeball. Ah. Okay, so this is more the full screen resolution. I think actually I'm falling off the edge there. I gotta shrink it down even more. There we go. So what you can see here is that after I bought the green screen, I bought just a green backdrop, and it works well enough for me. This is one of the other things if I had to do over. The first one would be, if I had to do over again, I would absolutely Whoops. What happened here? I lost... Oh, it's because I turned off the green screen, that's why. I was trying to figure out why all of a sudden you couldn't see the camera. If I had to do over again, I would buy a different camera because, like I said, great camera, but it is too in your face. And the second thing would be, if I had to do it over again, I would get a different green screen. This one was, it was definitely no more than $20. I did not spend a lot on the green screen. If I can find it real quick. And actually get my filter turned back on so you can see it. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this was the one I bought. Right now, it's $17. I bought it when it was like $15, I want to say. This was a extremely inexpensive, just green screen backdrop. And it's 7 by 5 feet. I have it rotated so that it is 7 feet wide and 5 feet tall. Because again, since I bought the widescreen camera, I needed more space horizontally than I needed it vertically. But as you can see in this picture, it was designed to be used vertically so that, you know, you drop onto the floor a little bit when you're getting your shots. It does come with these handy dandy clips at the top, which if I scoot this up a little bit, you can see right there, if I can point the right way, right there above my finger and above the Space Marine's head is one of the clips. And, you know, they work decently enough, but what I quickly discovered is if your green screen is not tight, you get a lot of wrinkles, and those wrinkles will severely impact the quality of your screen replacement. Like you can see right now, this is a pretty decent replacement. Like I got some artifacting around my hands if I move it quick enough. And down here in the corner, I have some more artifacting. And what I've discovered is that shadows is one of your greatest enemy whenever doing a green screen. Like whenever I have it very tight and the amount of area that a shadow can be cast is eliminated, that's when my green screen looks the best. Whenever it was hanging loose and I had just wrinkles everywhere and weird shadows being cast, it looked just horrible. So I went ahead and bought these Velcro clips right here, which they were like $10 right there. And I got this pack of, what is it, a 12 pack? So I put 1, 2, 3, 4, I put 5 along each side and then 2 at the bottom just to kind of hold it tight. And that way I got this nice crisp screen behind me. And then I spent another $15 and I got the cheapest lamps from Target. It's this mother-daughter lamp. And I have the lamp up top. It's actually a 3-position light switch up top. So it casts the light up and gets the whole room bright. And I have 2 of them, one on each side of my my work area. And so it casts the light up, gets the whole room bright, and then I have the 2 daughter lamps actually pointing behind me at the screen. And that is an attempt to minimize the amount of bad shadows. Now you can see again, down here, I do have some shadowing problems, and that's because right now I actually have the screen too close to me. And so it's the desk is casting a shadow in this area and kind of messing up that part of the green screen. And I didn't get all this at once. Over the course of like 2 to 3 months, I started to upgrade the environment I was doing. And, you know, I only upgraded it because I was having fun doing it. Yeah, you don't need all this fancy stuff. If you never want to do a video where you're in front of people, you don't need a green screen. You don't need lighting. You don't even need a fancy camera. Like the absolute best thing was this lapel mic. I spent just less than $20 on this, and that would have been everything I needed to do just about 90% of what I do on YouTube. But because I was having fun doing things like, I thought it'd be fun to do some live streams eventually. I thought it'd be fun to do some Let's Play stuff. And so I went ahead and slowly built up just kind of these different things. So I think all in all, what was it? It was like $15 for the green screen, $20 for the mics. That's 35. Another 10 for this stuff, so that was 55. Oh, and then the PVC pipe. So I'm a cheapskate. I did not want to spend like $40 for a professional green screen backdrop thing, a holder. So what I did instead is I bought some real cheap, just a couple dollars for, I think I bought 3 10-foot segments of PVC pipe. I did a 7-foot segment on top, a 7-foot segment on bottom, and then 2 5s. I bought a fourth one. I bought a fourth one because down at the base, which, let's see if I can hope no one gets seasick here. Oh gosh. Down at the base down here, I made just a foot thing so that, I'd actually have something to hold it up on. And you can see I have all kinds of networking cable because this is, I'm an IT guy, so I have lots of fun things all over the place up in here. And so for, maybe $10, I was able to create my green screen holder, which you can see at one point I was thinking with this T right above my head, I was going to do a third vertical brace, but I ended up not needing it. But I could have gotten rid of that and been just fine. I did use slightly more rigid PVC pipe. PVC pipe usually comes in 2 different flavors, real soft and then slightly more rigid. And I went with the more rigid because I know that 7 feet is a long span just be holding itself up in the air with regular PVC pipe. So let's see. There's one other thing I wanted to go over in terms of how I do things. Oh, it's a video I've been promising for Bird. So, guys, bear with me for a minute while I get this worked out. I made a program for Bird a while back ago. And what it does, let's see, where did I put that? Here we go. So it is a program that I wrote in Python. And the whole point of it is it grabs a video file and then converts it into a slideshow presentation, which I'm willing to bet that no one wants to see me go through all the code within it, but there's 2 important parts for how this program works. First off, you have to have Python for Windows installed. So you don't actually need to know the code. The code is absolutely, it's there if you want to look through it. This is a open license. I based my code off someone who did this similar concept for a different program. I think he did off off Linux Bash script. He just wrote this big shell program that would execute, which Linux is slightly better than Windows in a lot of ways. Linux is a lot better than Windows in a lot of ways. But not to start a OS war on here, but one of the ways it's better is that you can do huge scripts within the bash prompt of Linux. In Windows, you're limited to about 1024 characters, I think it is. And once you get above that, the script dies. So unfortunately, I couldn't get the script to execute and run within Windows because the script, once you add everything together, would be thousands of characters long. So I had to convert it all to Python to get it to work. So all you have to do is if you come over here to your handy dandy internet and search for Python for Windows or something, then you can get Python 3 is the one I use. I can come to this I can find an executable and install Python for Windows. So Bird, if you want to use this program, come over here to Python for Windows, install Python. And then the other thing you're going to need is ffmpeg, and obviously for Windows. You install these 2 things, and you will be able to use this program, which you can see here's the Windows executable for it. So what my program will actually do is it is best if you have Python added to your Windows path. But if you don't, you can just say, hey, you know, here's my path to the Python program. I have added it to my path. So if I come over here to, let's say, my command prompt and bring it into this window, let's make it big so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I can type py and I'm in a Python environment. You don't have to be able to do that. How do I get out of Python? Use quit brackets. There we go. Oh, I missed it. There we go. Okay. So what I can do is just type in Python, py. If you didn't have that, oh, I got to get the window over a little bit more. There we go. If you didn't have that, you'd have to be explicit where your Python environment is, which I think mine is in C drive, program files, Python probably. Maybe program files x86. Well, who knows where I installed it. There's a reason I added it to path, so I don't have to remember where I installed it. But I type in Python convert. Here we, oh, I'm in the wrong folder, that's why. Let's see, what was it? Pictures, Farscape. There we are. So Python convert.py, I'm going to tell it the input file is going to be, let's see, I have a Star Trek episode on my computer somewhere. I have in C drive, users, mbin, because that's me, videos, play on, Star Trek season 3. There we go. With this one simple line, this will do everything I want to do. Okay, so what it's doing at this point is it is actually, it read how big the length of the video, and it converted it into a specific number of images. So based off just your default stuff, it's going to hold an image on the screen for 5 seconds. And 2 of those seconds will be it fading in and out. So it's going to be really on the screen for 3 seconds. So it is actually parsing through it, and you can see right here, it is creating a unique image every 5 seconds. And whenever it's done, it's going to take these images and it's going to do a crossfade effect by default. So instead of just a picture and then immediately slams to another picture, it's going to give a nice transition between the two. And it's going to be, the end video will be a video of the exact same length as your input. So whatever this episode of Star Trek is, we're going to have a video of that exact same length. And you can see it's going to take, you know, maybe a couple minutes to do this whole thing. Right now it's grabbing the picture, and if I open up one of these at random, there we go. There's just a random photo that it grabbed from the episode, kind of toward the middle, it looks like. Almost done there. Okay, I did do, if you type in like a py convert.py and then do like a dash question mark, it is going to give you this help section. And it's going to give you all the different commands you can give it. Because I did try to make this flexible. Like for most people, if you wanted to do this, and you know, because YouTube is insanely strict on its copyright stuff. So if you wanted to review a video and you just wanted to bring up a still every 5 seconds or however many seconds, then you don't have to add any sort of arguments. It just gives you everything you need. If you want to do a couple more fun things with it, I did put in a lot of options to this program. Like you can put in a dash H, and you can specify the height of the output file. So by default, the height and width of the output video will be the exact same height and width as the source video. So if I start off with a video that's 720 by 480 or something, then that's going to be the output. And how are we doing on the conversion? Oh, an error occurred while trying to find the total number of pictures in the input directory. Oh no! No, it made me a liar. That's no good. It would happen. The one time I'm trying to live stream this, it decided to... Oh, you know what? It's probably because I don't have the video in the same file. Looks like I might have a problem with that. So we're going to redo this real quick. And by all means, if you guys do use this, please send me any sort of bug reports so that I can get it fixed. But it's supposed to work out, this sort of nonsense. That's okay. We can fix it. Okay, so it's gonna start doing that again. And technically, I forget what the option is, but I do have an option to actually skip over making the images. So when you're done, right now, you can see that there's going to be 920 images left over in the directory. By default, when you're done, it automatically deletes out all those images it just created, so that you won't have a bunch of images left over that you have to manually delete. It will get rid of it for you. Let's see. Yeah, so if I did a -K, so if so right now I just do this py convert.py -I is your input file. If you wanted to, you could do a -O and manually state where you want the output to go. Otherwise, it's just going to, in whatever directory you execute the program from, it's going to do a output.mp4 as the final file. If I did a -K, instead of deleting all those images out, it would keep them when the program finishes. -T is the transition type. Right now I have two different transitions. Transition 1 is the crossfade, and it's the option by default. And then transition 0 is just a hard cut between photos. I do have more options in here. I haven't activated them yet, but technically speaking, I do have the option for a lot of different transitions. It's just, I didn't think people would really want them, so I didn't put a lot of effort into implementing them. And you can see that it actually started now encoding the video file. That all the pictures are created, and now it's creating a video file based off those pictures. And it's already 6% done. Like, this is not a long process to do. So let's see. While it's doing that, what else? Is there anything? I mean, most of the people in the stream, I feel like I'll have a pretty good grasp on how to do this kind of editing stuff. Does anyone have any questions for kind of how I do things? I guess I could talk about, I use a program called Shotcut to do my video editing, and I don't like it. I'm using it at this point mainly because I've gotten so used to it, but it's actually not a great program. It has a lot of crashy issues. Like, I'll be going along editing something and I'll mess up, so I'll do a Control-Z and the entire program will just crash. And I can't figure out a rhyme or reason for why it's crashing, just that it does crash. So if I open up, well, this won't be a too interesting one, because I didn't do much work on this one. Let me open up a better one than this. This is a good one. Let's see, it's working on opening it. There we go. So you can see that I can add as many video or audio tracks as I need. Like, I can come here, right click, and say add video track, and it will give me a new one that I can overlay stuff on. And then I usually do A1 as my audio track for just me speaking, and then use A2 and A3 for like any sort of random sound effect I want to throw in, or background music. And then these little diagonal stuff, this is a crossfade transition. I gotta mute the microphone for a second, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry, I figured y'all didn't want to hear that. So you can see, you can actually start doing a lot of stuff within this. And so it's a good program because, again, it's free. And I can choose what sort of transition I want to go between them. But two big problems I have with this program is that on each one of these, on each one of these scenes, I can add a filter. So like right now, I've told it to fade the video out when it gets to the end. So if I play this, you can see when it gets to the end of this clip, it fades out. And specifically, it was fading out the Star Wars defined logo. The issue is, if I change something to that filter right there, oh, and you know what? I am just barely off screen. Let's try to get zoomed in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Let's zoom around some. Yep. So this fade out video, if I change any sort of property on that, you can't use Control-Z to undo it. Changes made to filters are permanent and immediate and cannot be changed. Until very recently, in fact, you couldn't even copy filters. It's as soon as a filter was applied, you had to manually go to each and every single element that you wanted that filter applied to and do it fresh. Very recently, they have added the ability where you can click on this button right here that says copy the filters and copy it between video segments. I really want to learn how to use DaVinci Resolve. It's another free program, but I haven't had the time to do it. Learning a whole new program, it's a time sink, and it's one that I don't have a lot of time for. So I've been enduring the issues that Shotcut gives me until I actually have time to do something new. Let's see, I think I did some fancier things in this video. Oh, and it's fussing at me. So when I did this video, I was actually out of town, and I had copied all my video files into a temporary folder. Now, unfortunately, I have since gotten rid of that temporary folder because I didn't need it. So if I wanted to have this program still working, I would have to come into each one of these and go to my movies. And will it search subfolders? It might. Let's just see if I can say, here's all my movies. Nope, it doesn't like that. Okay, so I'd have to come to Back to the Future 2. There you go. So now I'd have to do that for each and every one to fix it. I'm not going to do that right now. And Cinnabon is saying that Blender is a good video editor, also has really good post-production tools. So I guess I thought Blender was just kind of special effects stuff. I didn't realize that you could actually do a big production type thing the same way Shotcut here is doing. And again, DaVinci, it looks like maybe the next way to go that I want to try. We'll see what happens there. Okay, so by now, oh, it's still going, 81%. I thought it would be done by now. You can see that it takes a few minutes, but it's a lot quicker than manually like grabbing a screenshot and then splicing it together yourself. Like infinitely quicker than that would be. I guess while it's finishing up there, I'm just taking a quick time here while my kid's taking a nap. And Cinnabon is saying it's a 3D program with its own compositor. Okay. I guess that's one other thing about Shotcut. Is it doesn't include a lot of assets. It has tools for you to import images, import videos, import audio, and then do things to that. Like I can add like a blur effect. I had to do that on one of my videos for 7 Days to Die when there was one of the half-naked zombies. I just blurred that out. It has things like fade in. I can add in video effects to make it like grainy or kind of skippy. I can distort images, stuff like that. But it doesn't have assets of its own. So if I like, one of the good things about Photoshop, I think it is it has just an insane amount of clip art and sounds and just all the assets to it to make an amazing video. And that's something severely lacking on Shotcut. Okay, so it actually finished now, thank goodness. And you can see that there's now an out video. So if I just open this and put it, come on VLC, you can see that it is the episode of Star Trek, and each still image fades into the next image. And it is 45 minutes, 57 seconds long, which if I were to open the original, you would find is the exact length of the original file. In fact, I can prove that real quick. 4553. Let's see. We're just going to mute VLC real quick so that I don't get in trouble. And you can see it's actually 46 seconds long. So I was 3 seconds off on, that's as long as we're going to show on that. Don't get mad at me, YouTube. So it's like 3 seconds shy. So you can see that this would be a great program for, you know, Bert, he does his DS9 Wednesdays stuff. So it tracks along perfectly with the original video. You just lost a couple seconds at the very end of the end credits was the only difference. Okay, so let me go and wrap this up. Talk about what you can expect from this channel in 2020. I'm going to do some more Let's Plays. I'm having a lot of fun doing that with Cinnabon and Wes. I'm probably not going to do any of the group gaming stuff that people like DJ Odyssey are doing and Bird of Prey and Anti-Tracker. I have a lot of fun going to their streams and participating in that. But I don't want to... I think if all of us started doing it, we'd probably get bored real quick. So I'm going to let them do those group Let's Play with like the Jackbox TV or I guess Rock Solid Productions. He's also doing Use Your Words. So I'll let them have fun with that stuff. I will finally finish Forgotten and Sci-Fi Nation. Hopefully I can do that in the next couple days here. I am going to do more of the analysis videos. I'm not going to do anything major like I did with Star Wars, where I do like a 7 or 8 part segment video, you know, taking apart a video or a movie. I'm not going to do that. It was a lot of fun, but I've also had a lot of fun not doing some videos for a while, simply because of how time intensive it was to do that long series. Probably expect every other week to do kind of an analysis video. Things like, you know, The Moment You Lost Me or Film Done Right, that sort of style. Where I just talk about, here was a part of a movie, part of a show that it was going great, and then things just went wrong, completely wrong, and it really ruined the movie. Also, I hope to start a new series that I'm going to call Fumbled at the 1 Yard Line. We're talking about a show that I enjoyed a lot. It didn't finish strong. It wasn't enough to make me go, oh, well, I'm never going to watch this again, or oh, I hate it now. It took it from being a great series to a lame series. So expect that in hopefully a couple weeks from now. Hopefully sometime soon. Rock Solid and I, we keep missing each other. We want to do a joint stream on The Rise of Skywalker, talking about it. And I'd love it if we couldn't get Anti-Tracker to join us, because I think, you know, I think that Anti-Tracker and I agree on maybe a lot of the issues facing Rise of Skywalker. It's just we divide on the end, how that makes us feel about the movie. So I would also give it about a 6 out of 10 in terms of it being a decent movie. But for me, that puts it into the bad movie category for Star Wars. If it was just a mindless blockbuster, I think I wouldn't mind it. But the fact that it's a Star Wars, that's why 6 out of 10 is so bad for me. Whereas with Anti-Tracker, he's saying, yeah, 6 out of 10. Not great, but it's a good movie. So I'd be interesting to talk about him about that. And maybe whenever we do it, we can kind of have it be an open line thing. I'm not sure. Rock Solid and I, we were going to do it a couple days ago. I missed his email, so we didn't get to do it. But hopefully we can iron out some details here and figure out what we're actually going to do. So expect that sort of content from me in the year 2020. more fun videos. I am going to keep talking comic book stuff. I'm going to be talking Star Wars stuff, I'm sure, Star Trek stuff. Maybe if I'm really, really lucky, I can convince my wife to do another wife versus sci-fi show. I got her to do Farscape last year. I'd love to get her to do another pilot episode of some sort of sci-fi show, or maybe a movie this time, of just something she hasn't seen before and something I want her to see. Like maybe I can get her to watch the pilot of the original series of Star Trek. I was thinking about pilot of TNG, but I don't like the pilot of TNG. I don't want to subject her to that. So we will see what sort of stuff. It's going to continue to be variety, a good mix of Let's Plays, a good mix of production videos, and hopefully the channel continues to grow because I'm having so much fun doing this. And guys, I just want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. I gotta wrap this up because my kids are gonna wake up from their nap any minute, and it'll be time to get the day going here. So until the next time, guys, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.